My success talk, for those of you taking notes, I know some of you are taking notes because you maybe are having to do that for your class. This is an easy one to take notes on because I'm going to cover 10 of the top success strategies. 10 of them that you can keep track of as you're taking notes. Now these top 10 I'm going to do kind of in the David Letterman fashion, going from 10 to 1. But what's more important is not what order that these 10 are in, but are you doing any of them? Asking yourselves as you're listening to this, which of these are you using to be successful as a student? Okay, so again, it doesn't matter what order we're putting these in, but it's more important, are you using these? You ready? Okay, get those pencils ready. Number 10, attend every class. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? If you're going to be successful at college, you have to attend every class. And we're not talking about almost every class, we're talking about every class. Because if you think about it, if you're not in class, you're missing lectures, you're missing group discussions, you maybe are missing that the instructor is going over directions of a pretty complicated homework assignment or paper, or talking about an upcoming test and what you should study for. Or heaven forbid, if you're missing class, you may be missing tests or quizzes. And some of you also know that some of your faculty have attendance requirements built into that particular class, that you could be losing points if you're not in class. So that's kind of a no-brainer. You've got to be attending class. We just finished our 4-week attendance challenge. How many of you in this room, be bold, be strong, can raise your hand and say, I attended 100% of my classes 100% of the time? Who can say that? Yes, indeed. Woohoo! Good job. Very good. So that means they're compiling all of that right now, by the way, seeing who of all of our students attended 100% of their classes 100% of the time. So your names are being put into a drawing for some valuable prizes. And maybe when we started doing this last fall, people were kind of thinking, well, this is kind of, you know, is this really something we should be doing? Is promoting this? Well, why not? Because it is one of the things to be successful is attendance. And if we're giving you an incentive besides getting good grades, then why not? And it seems to be working. We've had some good positive feedback on it. Okay, number 9. For those of you following along at home, number 9, top 10 success strategies. Be organized. Be organized, which means approaching your classes so you are knowing when things are due. So one of the first things you should always do when you start a new class is you take that course syllabus and outline and you look for all the things that are in there. When are assignments due? When are tests happening? When is there a project or a paper I have to get in? And putting that on a planner, a calendar, your smartphone, your tablet, whatever you do to keep track of all of those things, that's important to do, is be organized. And approach things, and I know a lot of times some of you get real overwhelmed when you look at, boy, this class is going to be difficult. What they're going to have me do, what I need to do to get a good grade in this is going to be hard. So let's say you have this major project that's due on April 15th. Well, maybe you need to break that down. You know it's due then, but are there some things that you can do to break it down so it's not so overwhelming? So maybe you need to set something and say, you know, I'm going to do an outline and have that done by February 15th. That's my goal. At least I want to get an idea of what I want to accomplish with that project. Then maybe it's March 10th, you want your first draft done. And maybe it's March 30th that you want your second draft with revisions done. And then maybe it's early April that you have somebody take a look at it and you talk to your instructor. So by April 15th, you're ready to hand that in. Just an idea of how to be a little bit more organized when you approach things. And there's simple things too, is that if you're, especially a lot of you are full-time and you're taking 3, 4, 5 classes, keeping them all separate. Maybe you need a 3-ring binder for this class, you need a 3-ring binder for this class, and this one, and they're different colors, or pocket folders of different colors, and you put all of your paperwork and stuff in those, so you're not fumbling through your backpack trying to find, gosh, where is that thing I needed to look at for this next class? If you're throwing everything into a backpack, guaranteed you're going to probably lose stuff, right? So being organized that way. Now, we don't have a lot of time to talk about this, but when you talk about being organized, and the fact that we are using our computers so much, file management on your computers is real critical. Knowing how to set up on your computer different files so you can save paperwork to that. If you do a lot of scanning of your documents and you're saving them electronically, do you know how to make files on your computer so you know where to go? That may eliminate a lot of the paper too that you're trying to find. That could be a whole 50-minute lecture on file management. We don't have time to do that. Number 8, top 10 success strategies. Manage your time. Those of you taking notes, manage your time, or time management. Be careful as a college student not to overextend yourself, and that's real easy to do, and some of you are probably doing some of this. You might be a full-time student, you might be working full-time, and you have a family that you're trying to take care of. So how do you fit that all in? I mean, that's a lot. So if you have some control over that, maybe it's deciding, I need to not be a full-time student, I need to be a part-time student. If your program allows you to do that, then and work with an advisor, as we've been telling you all day, to see if you can structure it that way. Do you have a workplace that is going to be flexible and maybe back off on the hours that they're trying to want you to work? And it's a tough call, because I know Scott just got done talking about money, and we know a majority of our students have to work while they're going to school. I mean, it's the reality. It's just, how do you balance all of that? How do you manage all of that you have to do and get done? And hopefully, if you stay for the panel, that question's going to be addressed. And I know this morning, one of the persons answered that time management question really well. And I hope you can stay for that. Learn to say no. Maybe schedule about 90-minute study sessions. You know, when you have an opportunity to study and you have all of this stuff going on, grab it. Take that time that you have, that opening, and do it. Another thing you do to be organized too is make to-do lists. How many of you are to-do list makers? Raise your hand. Good for you. How many take your to-do list and prioritize your to-do list? See, you're just like you do that. Good for you. I'm a good to-do list doer. To-do list doer. I mean, I love making lists of things I have to do, and I love crossing them out when I'm done with them. Feels really good. But what I sometimes fail to do is take that list and go, you know, this one I really need to work on now. I sometimes do the easy ones first and wait for the hard ones to do later, and that doesn't always go very well. Then I'm stressed out, I'm trying to get a project done I need to get done, and I haven't done my priority. So making a to-do list, but then also looking at that list and going, what do I have to get done first? What's the biggest priority? Okay? Number 7, top 10 success strategies. You ready? Take control. And what do we mean by that? Well, it's kind of like, you got to understand what you probably already guessed. This is not high school anymore, folks. You don't have someone standing over you telling you what to do and when to do it and how to do it. As college students, you're responsible for a lot. And you need to be totally engaged in all of that. You have to do every assignment. You have to learn to adapt to different instructors. That's the reality, folks, is that you may have one semester you loved your instructors. You got along with them well, their teaching style fit with your learning style, but now, this next semester, oh, I'm struggling. I can't stand this instructor. Well, it might be because they have a different style, and you kind of have to adapt to that. You're not going to have some instructor every time that's going to fit. So you do kind of have to adjust, but that's life anywhere. I mean, those who get out in the working world, there's different people who have to work with and get along with and understand. Same, you have to do that with your instructors too. We talked about attending class every time, but it's also when you're taking control of your education, you're also on time to your class as well. Don't be walking in 5, 10, 15 minutes late. Because again, you've missed stuff, but it also doesn't show the instructor that you have a lot of motivation and responsibility. We're a technical college. We're teaching students for very specific careers. So it's almost like day one of your time at a technical college should be day one of your career. You almost have to think of it that way. Employers are not going to put up with being late. They're not. So being on time is also taking control. Communicate with your instructors. Let them know what's going on with you. Let them know if you struggle. Let them know if you've got questions. Our instructors are willing to help, especially if you're there every day, you're showing effort, they're going to be much more willing to help you. And the other thing about taking control is you've got to adjust your attention span. We as a society are getting a shorter and shorter attention span. I mean, look at all the things that we use in our daily life that we expect to be quick. We expect the internet to be quick. We watch short videos on YouTube and Facebook. We send text messages, which are mostly abbreviations sometimes, which I have no idea what those abbreviations mean. I still kind of write text messaging like I write a letter. And I certainly don't use those, what do they call them? The emojicons? Emoticons.
Or emojis.
Are they the same thing?
Yeah.
Emojis and emoticons are the same.
Yeah.
See, I don't even use those. But people sometimes revert to those. I have no idea what they mean. Well, they're too small on my phone, and I go, what are they swearing at me? What are they doing here? So we're in this society that everything is so quick. So one thing you have to do is adjust your attention span. When you're heading into an hour-long class, be prepared. That's going to be 50 minutes of lecture. You got to adjust. It's not going to be as quick as you would like it to be. Not as quick as these 15-minute talks we're doing today, certainly. Maybe that's why TED Talks are very popular. Okay, that was number 7. Number 6 on the top 10 success thing. Take good notes. Just like some of you are doing right now, taking good notes. And why is that important? Especially if you're in a class that is lecture-based. There's a lot of information that is being shared in that 55-minute class period. And to be a good note-taker, you have to be an active listener. So when you're in classes, and I'm hoping you're doing this, shut off your phone, put your phone away. That can be a real distraction. And it is a real distraction for some students. We go to our phone very, very quickly sometimes when we're uncomfortable or where we think we're going to be bored. But that's not making you an active listener. You have to possibly taking notes is going to help you pay attention. We just talked about adjusting your attention span. If you're actively engaged in someone talking in front of you, and trying to at least get what are they saying, and taking notes maybe will keep your attention span and your focus by doing that. And then take notes that are easy to read. I always use a story, but it helped me. My original career, or my original degree, was music therapy and music education. It was a 4-year bachelor's degree, and it was at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. And one of the first classes we had to take in our music curriculum was a class called music history. And a lot of students did not make it through music history, and if you don't make it through that class, you may have to change your major. I mean, that's how tough this class was. Luckily, I loved history, And luckily, the instructor was very good. It's so interesting. I mean, he had stories about composers and things that were very interesting. But, boy, we had to write a lot. I was writing notes, and they were messy, and they were disorganized. But what I did, and this really helped me, is I think I had about a 2-hour break between music history and then my music theory class. So I'd go to the library at the music building at Ohio University, and I'd recopy those notes. So, because I was writing so fast, I took the notes and I organized them, and I wrote neatly. And I tell you, it did two things. One, it helped me remember what I just learned, and it helped me internalize that lecture I just had. And it also, the other huge benefit is that when we had to get ready for a test, my notes were very organized. And I could study and do well on that test. So taking notes is an art form. And review your notes sooner rather than later. In other words, don't take your notes and you leave class and you don't look at them again for another week. You may have lost something. So take good notes. Number 5. On the countdown, read for comprehension. Read for comprehension. We had Scott was talking about textbooks, right? Most of our classes require some sort of textbook. So those can be overwhelming. They're sometimes thick books. And you're asked to read 1, 2, 3 chapters, before your next class session. And that can be really overwhelming. Well, just remember these 3 words. It's not the stop, drop, and roll that we learn about fire safety, but for reading safety, it's scan, read, and review. Scan, read, and review is one way that you can improve your reading skills, especially with college textbooks. Scanning simply means look at the chapter. A lot of these textbooks, the publishers are trying to help you out. Did you ever notice that they bold some words, in the paragraphs? Yeah, that's something to scan and go, that must be important. Sometimes they highlight some paragraphs, or they have a column off to the side that's highlighted in a different color. That might be important. At the end, they might have summary review things right at the end of the chapter. So scan what the chapter's about, then go back and read it, and then review what you read. Those are just simple steps about how do you comprehend what you're reading. Not always fun, but something to do. And the other thing about textbooks, have them in hand before your class starts, if possible. We hear about too many students that are going 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks without a textbook, and they're not going to be successful. So make sure you're budgeting, make sure you're planning ahead to do that. Number 4, we're getting there before the panel comes in. I got to move a little faster here. Study smart. Find a place that you can study and study well. Where is that study place for you? Is it here, somewhere on campus that you found works best? Is it the Commons with your headphones on? Is it Student Life Center? Is it our library? Is it the West Atrium? Is it the tech lab upstairs, the computer lab? Where is your best place to study? And then also ask yourself, what's the optimum time to study? When do you study best? Is it in the morning? Is it in the afternoon? Is it late at night? Is it in the middle of the night? When is the best time to study? And when studying, you don't procrastinate. The rule of thumb is that if you've got a 1-hour class, a 1-hour lecture class, you should be studying 2 hours to prepare for it. Just kind of a rule of thumb. And organize your study time. So when you go into that study session at that study place that you've picked, what are you going to study and how are you going to study? Again, maybe it's a priority thing. What's coming up that you really need to have priority in looking at when you study? Do your hardest ones first. Do the hardest assignments first, or the hardest tasks first when you're studying. Okay, we're getting there. Number 3, know how to take tests. Number 3 of the top 10 success strategies. Know how to take tests, how to approach your tests. Arrive early to your test session. Don't arrive late because you're going to already be stressed out. Are you going to do very well in the test? Probably not. So make sure on a big test day that you're arriving early. When you get the test in front of you, depending upon the type of test, read the instructions. Sometimes people barrel right into the test and get done with it and realize, oh my gosh, it's saying that I don't need to do all of them, or something. So make sure you're reading the instructions before you get too far into it. Maybe do the easy questions first. Oh, I know this one, I know this one. This one's pretty easy. And then go back to the harder ones that may take a little bit more time for you. Check your answers. Make sure you're answering. One rule of thumb too that I've heard, a lot of you might get multiple choice question tests. So you have a question, then you have 3, 4, 5 options. They say one of the best ways to do multiple choice is don't even look at the answers. Read the question to yourself and hear what your head's telling you, how you would answer that if you didn't have any options listed in front of you. Then look at them. Oh, there's my answer. Might be the right one. So multiple choice, and true and false is the same thing. There's some tricks about true and false tests too that you have to be careful of. But, reduce your test anxiety. Some anxiety is okay. I think that's adrenaline going. But sometimes you have to use relaxation techniques and breathe deeply and fake it till you make it, that you're going to do okay. So testing is part of being successful. Down to the last two. Number 2, and we have that fair right here today, is use the resources that are here at the college. You're going to hear the panel talk about that if you're able to stay for the panel. Is every college has a ton of resources for students to tap into to be helpful, to be successful. And we're blessed with that here. There's the Center for Student Success where I'm at. We have tutors, we have disability support, we have a counselor on staff, we have our career services, we have our wellness center, we have the Veterans Center, we have a big computer lab. I mean, there's all these things that are on campus that are there to help you. Now, one of my roles here at the college is I meet with a lot of students that have been on academic warning. In other words, they're below that 2.0 GPA and they get a warning. And I meet with people who've been suspended because they've had too many semesters below the 2.0. And I create a plan with them. And oftentimes I ask them, did you use any tutoring? Did you use any of these resources? You have a disability. Did you talk with Ann Swanberg about what accommodations? And a lot of times they will say, no, I didn't. I was embarrassed to reach out for help. And what I come back to them with is, okay, well, right, I get that. You know, it is hard sometimes to ask for help. But what is more embarrassing? Fighting for your education that you're paying for, in your career that you're hoping to get into, or telling family and friends you got suspended from college. I mean, what's more embarrassing? You know, fight for your education. This goes back to that other point. Take control of it. Be engaged in it. Last one before the panel comes up. I found this on a TED Talk, believe it or not. One of the TED Talks was on a topic called, and this is your number 1, so those of you writing notes, grit. G-R-I-T, grit. If you don't know what that is, it means being determined, persevering, finishing what you start. It's bravery, it's tenacity, it's fortitude, it's courage. That's grit. It's fighting through the tough stuff. This particular TED Talk was a woman who taught, I think, in junior high. And she talked about that the most successful students in her class were not necessarily the smartest students. The successful students in her class were the ones that had a lot going on with their lives, had a lot of struggles, a lot of challenges, but they fought every day for their education. They had grit. And that's what you need to. You gotta, no one ever said college was easy. College is hard. but you have to stick with it, and you finish what you start. That's what we want to do. That's why we're having a success day. We want our students to be successful. We want them to know what resources are available to them, so you can finish what you start.